Hello, Internet. Oh, I
And
should
Lost
probably...
Planet was a great, stupid game.
Oh, that was great, yeah. I should probably write down what I've been playing. 2 games
Oh,
this
shit.
week.
That might be a good idea.
I will never be able to spell the name of my second game here. Yes, I got it. Okay.
Shit, what have I been playing this week? I don't know.
Nothing.
Well, honestly, it's like I'm getting home at like 9:30 at night, so yes, it's home, eat.
As soon as you sit down, your brain just clicks right off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Let me check my Xbox app, which is terrible.
I was gonna say, I actually just
Is
pulled it
anything
up because I was
missing?
trying to see. It's like, when did I earn my first achievement of Oblivion? And it's so old, it doesn't date them. It just says, hey, you unlocked it.
So
That's great.
that's what makes it difficult for me, is because when I earned my first achievement for Oblivion, I did not have my Xbox connected to the internet because I did not have a 360 connected to the internet at the time.
Right.
So as such, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll figure it out one day.
Ah, those were the days. Hey, Favor.
Internet.
I just remember struggling trying to figure out if I wanted to buy the Shivering Isles DLC when that released.
Yeah.
Because it was the first real DLC that came out. That I was like, I don't, and trying to explain it to my wife at the time too, because like I was still trying to get it. It's like, okay, they sell it to you online, and it's like a quarter of the game, and
It's like, yeah, because like we were buying expansion packs for PC games, but that wasn't analogous to DLC, because
yeah,
expansion packs were always these big things, and DLC was always like, yeah, I mean, it's like it's $10, and you get this
DLC
stuff.
was horse armor.
Yeah, that's infamously where it started.
Yeah.
Thank you, Farrah. Yeah, that was sure was the time. All right, are you guys ready to get started?
No, but sure, but maybe, but no, but maybe. Yeah, I literally have one game, it turns out.
Okay, that works.
Guessing. Okay, Boston, do you want to go first? Because we're all going to talk about the same one of 2 games, I'm guessing.
And Nimp, do you have more than that one game?
No, I just
Nope.
have that one game.
Okay. I will go second.
That's what I was just telling Moon. It's like I've hit a thing with this, where I'm just like I'm just gonna go with the flow. Like
Sure.
this is just catching me right now.
I'll go second because I have one other game, but we'll all do the big one then. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer
Hi.
and the Nimp.
Banana seaweed. Not as weird as you think.
There you go. Check if you want to know more. Check out the pre-show, the Outcast, over at patreon.com/e1m1.
The ones and numbers, apparently.
Sometimes we try out on the Outcast, which is the uncensored exclusive Patreon episode for $2 or higher patrons. Don't forget the $5 tier is the one where you get everything. Anything above and beyond that, tell your rich friends, please. You get we try out energy drinks every once in a while, because we're a podcast, and we try out strange Korean snacks like banana seaweed.
Banana seaweed.
Yeah, so go listen to that for this episode and see if Nimp likes it or not. You also
You
get
see the weird, or hear the weird trepidation in my voice as I talk about it.
the tentative crunches.
Yeah, and the deafening crinkles, we'll say, too.
Yeah, I gotta
I did not think it was going to be that
You'll
loud.
pull that back in post somehow. But you'll get that. You'll also get exclusive access at the $5 tier or higher to the Critical Misses production meeting, where Moon and I are trying to figure out what we're doing for future seasons of Critical Misses. There's a bit of a monkey wrench.
We had a plan.
Yeah,
We had a plan, and the plan was flawless.
it was
Clearly it wasn't.
No, the spanner got tossed right in those works, and we had to take a little bit of a pivot for season 24. So we explained that and kind of figured that out. That'll be coming along in a couple weeks after we're done with season 23, which we are in the midst of right now, along with whatever season the previously planned season 24 is going to be.
Might have to change the season's name to Micro Misses every time you pivot.
That's right. You also get early access to Critical Misses itself, along with We Roguelike It, and you get access to the patron exclusive Wayward Sons, the Watchcast for Supernatural TV show that Moon and Imp are doing. I think they're getting ready to wrap up season 1. They're getting deep into season 1 here. If you want to remember, we don't delete any of those old episodes, so you can sign up now at the $5 tier or higher and go listen to all of those and listen to all the goodness. Get all of that patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers, apparently.
Quick plug here, we do have a brand new episode of the TVGP Game Club.
Yay, you remember!
One of the few, it's because it's one of the 3 games I played this week, and we talked about Venba. Venba is a puzzle cooking game that is an hour long, and it's on Game Pass. You should go play it, and then go listen to the episode. It's short and very good. It's one of the few games that made me cry, so you should probably go check it out overall. And you probably start and finish it while we're talking about our one game this week, so you could do both things at the same time. So go check that out. If you're listening to the audio version of this, that's in the feed right now. Our next game is Amnesia Rebirth for spooky season. Wow. So literally the opposite end of the spectrum. That's also on Game Pass. So if you want to come join us for getting ready for spooky season, you can go play that. All right, Moon.
I got Boston to agree to a scary game. It's the best part.
Hey,
of this
man, you got to
thing.
expand your horizons sometimes, and sometimes that means playing an Amnesia game.
If you like to hear Boston sweat, maybe get us up to that Patreon goal so he can start streaming some scary games, please.
Yeah, Patreon removed goals, but we're still you get this the $250 a month goal. I'll play some spooky stuff on. I got some ideas. I got thoughts. And plans.
Get us to a couple of grand a month, and I will happily stream every day.
That's right.
5 days a week.
Find a lot more time in our schedules. All right, Moon and Nimp and myself. Let's talk about
what have we been playing?
The game this week, Starfield.
I find it amazing that for a game that doesn't have any co-op or any multiplayer, between you guys and the Tuesday nights that I play with, Angel Eye and Faeror, we've just been in chat playing Starfield. We're not even playing multiplayer games. It's just us chatting.
We were talking about old 360 stuff. That feels the most like 360 when voice chat came in, where it's like, here's 4 of us, and we're all playing different stuff, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze for a while. That's great.
So,
really, really good.
What does anybody know what their hour count is so far?
I'm at
dude. I was gonna say I gotta pull mine back up.
I'm at 20 something now because I looked at it the other day.
Okay, I know I'm at 2 days and something now. 2 days, 9 hours.
Okay.
So
I haven't really done a ton this week. I went through the Ryujin
19 hours.
Okay, 19 hours. So you and I are kind of right there neck and neck. I went through the Ryujin kind of corporate espionage.
Yeah,
stuff.
I did that too, and then I had to stop at a point.
I went. No idea what you're talking about, but okay.
So it started with one of the things that I kind of enjoy about this game, but it kind of drives me crazy, is you'll be walking through New Atlantis, and you won't even notice, but 5 minutes later, there'll be a quest that's like, hey, go talk to the scientist by the tree. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
It'll tell you new activity unlocked or whatever.
Right, and I never notice those because I'm not in a quest. I'm just looking for stores.
Which I am glad that those have their own separate category in the quest log, because like you were saying, you could walk through New Atlantis and all of a sudden you have 10 of them.
Right. And thankfully it's
an
act
snippets of conversation.
Yeah.
Conversation that you get, and then it gives you a quest.
Yep.
I will say, biggest pet peeve about this game, it does not have location-based quests. In order to find all of the quests on that location, I need to open the map, look for the objective marker on the planetary map, and then find that in my quest log. There isn't just a tab on the quest log that says the planet that you're on.
Oh, sure, right.
On that planet.
Yeah, that is a real bummer, especially because like walking through New Atlantis or walking through Neon or something, you can pick up a whole bunch of quests, and it's like I don't. Asking me to talk to the bartender. I have no idea. Or like, I want to spend some time in Neon. What do I have going on here? I don't know. But one of those, the region one started for me with that, where it's like, hey man, go apply for a job. I was like, what are you talking? And so you go apply for like a corporate desk job, and it then very quickly like it does in all of these games, it spirals out into this much larger quest line. Nimp, have you gotten the benefit of that quest line yet?
No,
you get a
I
new
have not.
thing. Okay.
I have not completed that because I am at the point where you have to infiltrate yourself.
Good luck.
Yeah,
that mission's
that's where I
broken.
stopped. Yeah, because yeah.
Yeah, there's a problem with stealth in the game at the moment, it appears. Even if you kind of take off your like 60 kilogram heavy spacesuit and start sneaking. So that
Even if you have the optic camo crap that you can find in this game, somehow they can still detect that you are there.
Yeah, like a mouse farts and they're shooting at you.
Yeah.
Do you have points in the stealth
I
thing?
do.
I do, yeah.
That was the thing that stumped me at first was, hey, where's my stealth meter? Oh, I need to unlock it. Okay, good to know.
And they tell you at that mission that there are things that you can do to help. Like, you can turn off the lights in certain areas, and you can turn on robots as distractions, but it's not very clear. Like, they don't point it out. I found out because I was getting flustered with it and looked up a guide on that stupid mission, and that's when I found out that you could do all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, so I tried that thinking that was my issue, and no, it's just, the game doesn't recognize stealth.
Yeah, it very much seems like a bug, like it should work. So thankfully that mission, I did that mission stealthily for a really long time until I kind of had to go loud at some point. And after the mission, they were like, hey man, I told you not to kill anyone. And you're like, yeah, sorry. And they're like, just do better next time. It's like, okay, fair enough.
I had that same thing, because I'm at that point too where I haven't killed anybody for the Ryujin one, but the same thing with the UC one too. You'll do a thing where you're basically doing the same thing, and they keep telling you, hey, try not to kill anybody.
Sure.
And I don't, and I didn't. However, one station got alerted way further on, because they always seem to do this, where it's like the missions seem real stupid easy, and they don't really require you to do a whole lot of stealth or thinking. As long as you can hack, or as long as you can bypass some stuff, you're usually fine. But then they'll throw like this one mission where it's like you have to Metal Gear Solid this thing, and you're not spec'd out for it because that's not how the missions have been up to this point. So it's really weird. But I got yelled at on that UC one for the same thing, where it's like, oh, you opened up fire and blah. I was like, dude, I was using a disruptor, and also I didn't shoot first. They shot at me first.
I just did a UC mission where they're like, you got to make sure you don't kill any. There's a bunch of civilians. You need to make sure you don't kill a bunch of these civilians. And I'm using the knockout gun basically. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm doing great. And then Vasco busts in, is just like, bang, 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 just killing a bunch of civilians. I was like, well, there that goes. Thanks, buddy.
I had to stop with the Ryujin one because I had that same thing where Vasco just, everything is fine until the guards get alerted. And that's when Vasco's like, all right, it's
I'm ready here, meatbags.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
So here he comes. And this is another great thing. So I gave him, he still has the minigun, and he is using that to the fullest extent now. I don't know what his issue was beforehand, but he is back to just being all gung-ho. Grenades on your companions. Just give them one, because they get infinite usage out of one.
Oh no.
This is great. It also sucks sometimes because they will use them more liberally than I do. So you will see all of these grenade icons popping up everywhere.
It's like a Call of Duty game on the highest difficulty, just like thoop, thoop, thoop.
And I have my ranks in explosions, so I can see, it'll show me the grenade icon, it'll show me where it's at, and if it's red, I'm within the area of effect. If it's white or gray, it's by me, but I'm not going to get hit by it.
Oh, okay.
And it's hilarious when Vasco starts lobbing grenades, and I just see like 4 icons spread out, and then they come bouncing back to me, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Buddy, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
So that is a new thing. If you're going into an area and you're planning on going loud, just give your companion 1 grenade. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
which one, but make sure
clean the whole place up.
Make sure it's not an impact grenade, because you do take friendly fire when they
Oh,
throw
sure.
them. Grenades do not care. So
Right. Yeah, I kind of liked that whole Ryujin questline. It was way longer than I was expecting it to, and every time I thought it would finish, they're like, "Oh man, you did great on that mission. Here's your next one," and I'd get an achievement, and then I'd have a whole nother separate questline to keep going on. And so it's funny because I've spent a lot of this week sort of realizing I'm going to be pulling back from calling this Fallout in space, because from a game design perspective, it really isn't. Because the strong suit of Fallout is, I'm going to go northwest, and I'm just going to see what I'm going to get into and do that. And that's not really...
It's very directed.
Right, and like, Starfield's strength is, you have these big cities that are chock full of things that it's not going to point you at. Like, go check out New Atlantis and go find the store that you can buy a house from, so whenever you finish the Vanguard mission and you're a citizen, you can go buy your own house over there. But it's not going to point you to it. Like, there's 15 different places to buy stuff from, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff to do that it's hoping you're going to stumble on, but it's not going to give you that stuff out in space very often. There's a couple instances of that. I'm not going to spoil it, but I had one this week pretty quickly after I joined the Ryujin group, and you finish like the first couple of missions. You get sent into space for something, and I run across this mission, and I go in, I like dock into the ship, and I go in. It's a bunch of operatives.
Is it the AI one?
It is, and I don't want to.
Just found that too. Yeah, no.
I don't want to spoil anything.
That was great.
But I'm getting more dialogue options now because I'm investing more into the skill tree.
More skill points.
Yeah, and I'm getting hooked up with these more groups. So I have like UC Vanguard options, but I had a Ryujin operative option in this one, and it was really great because I busted in and these 2 people are arguing, and I had an option to just be like, hello, I'm a fellow operative, what's the situation here? And they both like snap to attention and they give you the lowdown right away. And I was like, man, that's the cool Bethesda stuff. Like when you get to use the quest line that you've already in the middle of to get a new dialogue option to bypass a bunch of stuff. Man, that's the cool stuff. That's the stuff I want out of these games.
Yeah, I had I don't know if you guys have bumped into it yet, but I had the colony ship mission to start this week.
I don't know if I've done that one.
No.
Oh boy, that's again, not wanting to say anything to avoid spoilers about anything like that.
Right.
But that is an interesting one, to say the least.
And
go ahead.
Oh, well, part of what I think is interesting about this game is I like stumbling upon that stuff, and I like that there isn't a ton of it in space, and I like there's more of it on, Cydonia or Neon. Neon is such a cool looking place. Or New Atlantis. I like that you're stumbling on it there, so the game is really encouraging you to kind of check out every back alley of these places to see what you run into. It's just a real bummer that it's a bummer and it's a boon that almost none of that stuff is on the surface of a planet. Because that stuff...
I was actually gonna bring that up too. Far, I feel I'm pretty far into the main story because I kind of switched gears and stopped doing side stuff and concentrating on the main quest line right now.
Sure.
There's like just the same 5 or 6 systems that you go to constantly, and that's it. Like there's no, so far, there hasn't been a reason to go explore these other 1,000, systems that they built because we're just confined to this one setup.
Well,
and I know
everywhere on the surface of a planet is always like an abandoned drilling place or an abandoned science thing, and like probably 3 kind of natural things that are on the surface of a planet that doesn't really get you anything if you discover them. So
from what I understand, you need to go back to the Eye, I think, and you can trade in surveyed planets.
You can also sell surveyed planet stuff too at stores.
I have not found the Eye at all. I'll have to go find it.
It's part of the main story missions.
Yeah.
Not far enough in then, apparently.
Okay. But I'll
finish
also
Into the
say,
Unknown. Boston,
Yeah.
just do the story missions until you finish Into the Unknown, please.
Okay.
you'll unlock something cool.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I will go do that
Yeah.
next then.
But I'll also say too, like today, talking about how it's basically the same kind of setup for landing on a planet. I had 2 outposts that were completely identical, same enemy setup, same floor map and everything that I'd seen before last week. And at first I thought, I was like, oh, maybe mission objective or whatever sent me to a same outpost. But I was like, no, I pulled up the map, fast traveled to the other one. Yeah. Pirate was sitting in the exact same lawn chair and the exact same deck. Layout was exactly the same. So for some reason, I don't know why, but that outpost one was just an exact copy. And that's the first time I've run into it with all the extra exploring that I've done. But it just felt kind of weird that I was like, man, now I know where everything's at. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I did get a cool mutual defense mission by going into a sector that was not controlled by Freestar or UC. And it was basically a bunch of like early, colonists who were trying to make the most of the land kind of thing.
Okay.
And it was 4 families who were arguing with each other over who had the rights to what in this system, and they were all getting attacked by spaces. So
I did that mission. That was cool.
And do like a whole bunch of space stuff, then a whole bunch of planet stuff, and then
do a bunch of mediation.
And
that was cool. I liked that one a lot.
That's a cool chain of like lines. I will say, like, things that I've noticed this week that I didn't realize was like this game has the corner lean system. Had no idea about that for the longest time.
I didn't know.
If you stand on a corner or behind a box and then pull the left trigger to look down sights, you'll do the pop-up aiming thing or the pop sideways aim.
Oh, okay.
Nope, I still just get out of crouch and shoot and then go back down into crouch.
Yeah, me too.
Which is, that's weird to not like point that out straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know, it does not point this out well enough, but you can literally custom waypoint yourself anywhere on a planet too. Like,
I did try that.
To land at the places that it shows. You can literally just land anywhere on the planet. You just set a custom waypoint to it.
Yep.
And the final thing that I will say that I ran across this week, and I love it and I hate it at the same time. I didn't accept it because the ship that in question was a level 34 ship and I'm level 12, so I ain't touching it for now. But I jumped into a system and then a different ship jumped in right after me and hailed me, and they were trying to reach me about my ship's extended warranty.
Great.
Nice.
And they give you the option to ask more or to just back out, and I was like, you're level 34. I'm just going to back out of this situation right now so I don't accidentally start some stuff.
That's great.
I will say, with my wanted trait, I can tell when they're forcing an encounter on me in space, because I will go to the map and I will tell it, hey, take me to, land at New Atlantis at mast.
Mm-hmm.
And then it won't. It just puts me in space.
Pulls you into the atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have to have the interaction. But something cool that is happening with this now is I have killed enough of them that I am at the point that the bounty hunters are starting to fight for me because they're having a little infighting, because the bounty hunters have decided that I am a big enough threat that there needs to be more of them to take me out, which means I need to have a bigger bounty on my head for it to work out.
Oh, sure.
So there's these bounty factions now. Some of them are, I think they call them like fast bounties and slow bounties.
Mm-hmm.
And the slow bounty people are defending me because they want my bounty to get higher, so that way it would be worth taking me out to cash in. And the fast bounties are just trying to get a quick buck, so they're taking me on. So I've got like these two factions fighting over who gets to kill me.
That's great.
And it doesn't, the wanted thing, it doesn't actually, like, I don't have an actual bounty to pay off and I don't have any issues like when they scan me or when I touch down anywhere.
Sure.
I just get these bounty hunters coming after me. So it's kind of like this weird side thing that's happening that doesn't
like a
really
mini
matter.
game every once in a while, like, hey man, pew pew
but
pew.
I just thought it was really funny that I jumped into a system and there were like 3 bounty ships there, and then like 10 other bounty ships jumped in. I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. But then they all turned blue instead of red and started attacking the other guys.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I don't know what's going on, but I'll take it.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I've been doing. A lot of my time was spent doing the Ryujin stuff, and a lot of time kind of just poking around Neon and trying to get into trouble there. That's a pretty cool city. And when I realized how many stores are available in New Atlantis, I spent a ton of time just kind of poking around a bunch of that stuff. There's not really a lot of stuff that's interesting to buy, because the majority of the stuff that I'm picking up and using that's good is like I think I'm like level 16 or 17 at this point. Whenever I take down an enemy that's like level 35 or 40, that's the person I'm picking something up from and using it off of them. But most of the stuff is not good.
Yeah, it's mostly just crap. I bought my first ship for the first time, but I mean, like, I have so much money. I think I have like millions of dollars. There's, like you were just saying, there's nothing to spend it on.
Yeah, I haven't bought a ship yet because I made an upgrade to my current ship where I upgraded the reactor just to see what it would do. But I'm still using the beginning ship because I haven't really found anything else I like.
So
I
Go ahead.
I bought the Econohull, which is available. I bought it at New Atlantis.
Okay.
It's like 94,000 credits or something like that.
That's not bad.
But it's got the only thing you're missing based on that versus the Frontier was the missiles, which I just bought a missile set and put it on it, and it was fine.
Oh, sure.
But it has almost 3,000 capacity on inventory space.
Yeah, I should buy that then.
Which, for me, is the biggest thing because I have a problem with this stuff, and I know I do, and that's fine. But
I'm just trying to save up
literally
resources so I can build stuff finally.
Me too. Like that's the only thing I'm picking
doing,
up is all those resources.
You do, if you want a ship with good cargo capacity for free, start doing the free. What are they called? The Free Union, whatever.
Free Star Alliance.
Yeah. Start doing their faction quests, and you will get a really, really good ship for free that has a lot.
That stuff.
Yeah. But my issue was I hit a story point where I had to have a ship that could jump 20. It was either 20 or 21 light years, and everything that I was flying was like 16 or 17, whatever. And I couldn't upgrade the ship because that required me to have rank 4 like ship crafting or something like that. So then I had to find a ship that had that, and I did. I finally bought I think it was from Demos, the ship station in Seoul.
Oh, okay.
They had the Aegis one, which is a Type B, which had 21 jump range. I'm like, cool, I'll grab that. And that's fine, it got me through. I did not like the ship because it only had like 200 cargo capacity compared to the 2,000 like you were just saying for my other one too that I had. Which luckily the game, if you have more cargo than what your new ship will hold, the game will just shove it on that ship, like in its cargo hold. So you don't have to worry about trying to split the difference and make it fit. It just does it. And then once you go back to your normal ship, everything moves back over, and then you can access it normally. But it just sucked that between trying to do any kind of research, trying to put any mods on my spacesuit or my weapons, or trying to upgrade or modify my ship, you have to have your ranks into this.
Yeah.
And, into each individual thing. And I'm only level 38, I think I am right now.
Okay.
And I think I've got seven or eight different skills that I have points in right now. And probably half of those are mastered right now. But I mean, like, I don't know what the cap, like, I don't know if we have the level cap of 50 or not.
No, because there's an achievement for 100.
For level 100.
Oh, is it 100? Okay.
I also
achievements either. So
I ran across someone saying the other day that apparently there's no skill point cap. I haven't verified that, Oh, there isn't? That's great.
There wasn't in Skyrim. In Skyrim,
That's
if you
true.
wanted to max everything out, you could max everything out.
But how would you do that then? Because the only way we get points is from leveling. Like, so far, there hasn't been another way that I've earned a skill point yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen how they said it.
But I'm wondering if we have to go through New Game Plus and that resets your level, and that's how you keep your skills, but it resets your level, and you keep earning that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because right now, as it is, even with level 100, there's no way that's enough skill points to get everything right now.
Yeah, I've been trying not to look at too much of this stuff because, it's the standard internet thing of like, oh, how many skill points can I get in Starfield? And then they're like, here's the garbage ending for this garbage game for babies. And it's like, bro, I didn't need to see any. What are you doing? So,
well, whatever. I'm still enjoying it, but I am kind of getting to the point where I'm really starting to see like the scenes in this game.
Yeah.
And it's the load screens. My God, anytime you go to do anything travel-wise.
I'm fed up of the docking, undocking, landing, taking off like sequences already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Outside of that, I still haven't had any major glitches yet.
I haven't either. I had it freeze one time this week, but it seemed like every once in a while I'll go into the main menu and it'll start auto-saving and hitch for a minute. I thought it was that, but it froze for like a couple minutes. So I had to force close it.
I have started running into frame drops while running through like any major city.
Yeah.
If I run through it, like it starts dipping real hard, but not all the time. It's just like every once in a while it drops to like 12. And
the sunlight hits the right way and drops a little bit. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same position you are, where I'm still having fun with, like, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I think I'm trying to focus on the things that the game wants me to focus on. Like, I'm not going to explore any planet because it seems like there's absolutely no reason for you to do that.
It's just a hassle, yeah.
And they're just barren, which is fine. Yeah. Like I if there's nothing there, then that's cool. I just won't do it. I'll just fast travel literally everywhere and just kind of be done with it. I did do one of those survey missions where you go and like find everything on a single planet.
That was really fun.
It was fun, but it did not give me nearly as much money as it should have. It was like, here's 10,000 credits. And I'm like, I just finished a really short mission to go like talk to 3 people and I got 15,000. So like,
I think the equivalent for that is you take that data that you've got from that too, and you take that to the Eye, and you can sell it at the Eye too. So
I've got to do that.
Payout.
I've got to do that this week to go actually do the main mission instead of doing all these faction missions, because the faction missions are actually pretty good. I'm in the middle of the UC Vanguard one, and
they feel like full-on story missions.
Yeah, and that's the stuff I like in these games, where I'm getting a longer interconnected series of quests that go to essentially longer dungeons on these planets. So you're going into what seems like a pretty standard, mining research facility, but they give you a key that unlocks the bottom part of this, and then there's 5 more floors under there and a giant cave for you to go into. Like, those missions feel really good and long enough and rewarding enough where those are the things I'd rather be doing than like going to a bounty board and picking up like, go kill this dude, and you are kind of doing the same thing you're doing everywhere else.
Yeah. But yeah, outside of that, I have come across a couple interesting missions that I don't want to talk about because it'll kind of spoil them.
Sure.
The mechanics of why they were interesting and fun. If I say what they were, it would spoil the whole point of you guys discovering them. But there are still a couple of them where, like, even now, there's one that I was doing where for like a good half hour, I didn't take a single shot at anything. Like I was just, that was just not how this mission was set up. I've been exploring and, doing other things. And if it wasn't until something did eventually pop up, like 45 minutes later, then I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't shot around in a while. This is everything was quiet and great.
I will say, like, I've like I thought there was going to be like 7 different types of gun in this game, and the further I get in, the more and more and more new weapons are getting put at me every single time. It's like I've seen about 7 different pistols. Sorry, 7 different kinetic pistols alone, let alone laser pistols, and I just picked up my first fusion weapon, which is just okay, sure. Why not? I immediately give that to Sarah and told her to equip it so she can use that thing because I am not trained for it.
Oh, sure.
I'm running around with a 1911 with an extended mag and a hollow sight right now, and that thing is taking everything out in one shot.
I'm running around with like an old school hunting rifle. They call it like an old Earth hunting rifle.
Hunting rifle.
And I'm doing
one of those too.
Work.
Yeah. I got a new type of laser rifle which I'd never seen before. Like I saw it for the first time like 10 minutes like before I stopped playing. And it's a Hitman version too, which means that if you look down the sights, you get a 15% damage boost. And I already have the laser spec done, so I'm doing like 70% bonus damage every time I look down the sights. So it's like, okay, I guess I'm using this one for a while.
Right. Have you come across one of the laser weapons where they're like the assassin version, where they're like, oh yeah, added suppressor, and I'm like, it's a light gun, it doesn't make noise.
It's a laser. It's a pew pew thing.
Clearly, it does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you hear a battery charge up somewhere in the background, and like that's all you get, man. You're dead.
If Stormtroopers taught me anything, it's that those things are loud.
That's right.
Oh yeah, but
I was really expecting to go and play this week and have the kind of shine worn off of it after the
Bethesda burnout is what I call it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Where like your first week is great and you're playing and you put in 50 hours and it's great, and then you see, like you said, Nimp, like the seams start showing up. You're like, oh, this doesn't matter, and maybe this isn't fun, and I kind of don't like this either. And I'm seeing some of that stuff, the stuff we've talked about already, but I'm still
just doesn't feel like it matters.
Yeah, but thankfully the stuff that feels like it matters is the fun stuff. Like the shooting starting to feel a little bit better as I'm getting my hands around it. I like doing the dungeons. I like doing these quest lines. I like doing the kind of longer ones. I kind of know the quest lines to ignore at this point because either they're going to be dumb or maybe they'll be short and fun, like the one in New Atlantis with the scientist next to the tree where you go grab all the sensors.
I just started doing that for him, yeah.
Like that one was kind of short and kind of silly in a way that I appreciate.
The second part of that is hilarious. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I've got. Yeah, I haven't gone back to talk to him again, but I need to.
You have to.
Do that.
You do a mission for him, then you wait. Then he's do another mission for him, then you wait, and then I'm waiting for the third version of that mission. The second version is hilarious. It asks a moral question, as so many of these things seem to do, and I was lucky I got away with it, we'll say. Let's just say I'm glad I had the tablets that give you additional speech. I'm lucky I had those. And I will say, I do like the fact that they've done the same thing for this, what that they did with Skyrim, which is when they have a cave or a dungeon or however you want to refer to it, they do the looping map, where when you get to the end, there's usually a hole, and you drop down the hole, and you're right back at the start again. So
you open a locked door, and it's right at the exit/entrance. It's like, perfect.
Unless you get one like I'm in now, where they want you to loop back the way you came, and guess what? You're being invaded.
There's new stuff. Hooray! Yeah. I was expecting to kind of have the shine worn off this week, but I'm still having a really good time, and I'm still having a good time just kind of like poking around the game and going through these quest lines, and just I think hitting Neon was I hit it at kind of the right point where I hit it, and I was like, all right,
yes,
this place is cool, it looks cool, there's a ton of new stuff to do here. I need to be better about poking around all of these places I'm going to, because there's more in each one of these cities than it seems like at the beginning.
Yeah, I went to Venus, I think it was.
Okay.
And they have a museum there, which I was happily went and explored. And then part of that, I got an activity, nothing special, but just an activity to go and visit a specific site on Earth. And oh boy, if you haven't been to Earth yet, it's depressing as hell.
Yeah.
I'm
It's real
currently
rough.
doing a mission for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's speaking of that, there was like a NASA museum kind of thing that I had found somewhere that like I sat
NASA
there
still
and,
exists because like
Yes.
I've found their uniforms.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
I
there's-
have a bunch of coffee cups and snow globes that I stole from this museum
nice.
because I'm like, well, I'm taking those and putting them on my ship. So.
Well, and there's also that really cool interactive like walkthrough UC Vanguard
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
at the beginning that I really liked because it felt like a really good way to communicate all of the lore in this game in a way that was kind of bite-sized enough to not just be like lore dump, bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It
it's
was
the
cool.
fact that it's like walking museums, like it makes sense that
Yep.
they're in the world for tourists, but
Right.
also for us, it lets us like learn more about everything like that. Like, I made the mistake of asking Sarah Morgan about what war she was talking about, and she was so indignant to me that she didn't talk to me for like 3 hours.
Jeez.
I was like,
Sarah.
That's why Vosko's my buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's only my buddy right now because I happen to learn that by accident, I learned that there are companion missions, specific missions for each companion.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So I
All
now
right,
have
come on
Sarah
back out,
with me,
Sarah.
and I'm avoiding any illegal activities,
Yep.
despite the fact I've got like 7 missions to do illegal activities.
Yeah.
That is my biggest problem with her right now because there is a story mission where you have to bring her, and your goal is to steal an artifact from somebody who does not want to sell it to you.
Oh,
Who has
okay.
already said it is not for sale. I am not interested.
Great
in giving this
person
up."
to bring
and
with
like
you.
I said last time
Right.
about the whole vault thing with the UC, where she was super mad at me for
Uh-huh.
being like, "Oh no, we should open it. We should get the information." And I was like, "If there was an artifact in there, you would tell me to break into it."
That's right.
That's exactly what you do in this mission. You get onto this, you get into. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but there's not a good way for you to come out of this because you are robbing this person to complete the
Right.
story mission. No matter what options you pick, no matter how you go about doing
And
it.
Sarah's
And
like,
she is
well, if
fine
it's for
with
an
it."
artifact, all right.
Yeah, but there's one option where you just kill everybody in the area, basically saying no witness. Yeah,
Right.
and I
I've
did that,
bumped
and she
into
got
a couple of-
super mad at me to the point that it actually says Sarah is angry with you,
Oh, jeez.
and I'm like, I don't care. I am here because of her.
Yeah, like I'm getting an artifact for you, lady.
And it's like we're not walking out of here alive if we don't take these people out. Like,
Right.
what do you want
Yeah.
me to do? Like, you already
Jeez.
have your answer, and it makes me hate that character even more that she is.
She's very holier than thou.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Ugh.
I will say I have run across like 2 or 3 megaton situations already to bring the Fallout 3
Oh, really?
reference. And I'm just like, come on, all right? You're like, no,
Don't make me
I'm
choose.
not gonna make this choice.
Right.
Oh, I do it all the time. It's like I can only hit the button
pushing the
once,
button.
just once. Yeah.
Here, tap, 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 tap.
How many more of these you got? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Any final thoughts here for Starfield this week? Sounds like we're just kind of still in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. My biggest issue right now is just time to play. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have time for anything, and there's like 56 games coming out that I want to play.
That's
But
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
This
I
week
know
alone.
what's going to happen. What's going to happen with this is exactly what happened with Fallout 4. Like, I started Fallout 4 and I loved every moment that I played of it. And then because of the show or because of personal reasons, I moved on to something else and I played something else. And then I never went back to Fallout 4.
Right.
And I really hate that because I like the story that Fallout 4 was telling.
Right.
But I kind of want to avoid that with this, so I'm trying to avoid. I'm not going to play Life of Pi because I don't want a game where you need to sit down and
Just
only
talked
play
about
that game
Yeah, for 30, 40 hours.
Right.
without playing anything else. Because what's going to happen is I'll do that, focus on that, and then forget about Starfield, and then so on and so forth. So
Right.
I'll probably play this and micro games for the next while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this game, but this isn't a game of the year game for me. Like, it's on the list.
Sure, but it's not your top
But
number
it's not
one.
number
Yeah, it's
top of the
there's
pops.
Still, it still does feel like we're playing Skyrim or Fallout 4. Like they just didn't do enough different.
It's
for
the
me.
same blueprint as the
Yeah.
other ones. Yeah.
Which isn't bad. I'm not going
Right.
to hold that against this game, but there's even like some of the main mission story stuff that I've come across. I'm like, you guys just kind of took that from like this game, like
Right.
part and parcel. Like this
And-
is all just that.
And like, I'm an Assassin's Creed fan, which is like the worst offender for just copy and paste game after game after game. But this very much also feels like that too, where it's like, this is a Bethesda
The biggest
game.
difference, though, is Assassin's Creed comes out every year. Well, every
Right.
2 years at this point.
It's
But
true.
it was every year. And it was 90-hour games every year as well. So,
Right.
you know. Valhalla was great, but I'm glad I haven't played anything since then.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's fun. It's just I don't know. That's it, I guess. I'm
Yeah,
having fun.
hoping for something a little more fresh
like-
after so
yeah, that's-
long.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
having fun is the best thing that you could hope for in a video game. Is that you're
Right.
going to enjoy it. But yeah, I would like a new thing to be after.
Yeah.
Like we make fun about with JRPGs how you're always trying to get a mech to kill a god.
Right.
This is kind of
Mhm.
following Western RPG story
Right.
plots a little bit. So,
That's
but
true.
anyway, and it's not a spoiler because it changes. I'm past that point, and there's other things happening. So
Right.
nothing that I've said is a story spoiler. Don't freak out.
Right. Right. Is that all that both of you guys have played?
Yep.
All right. I have one other game I played this week, and I started Eternights. This is the hack and slash dating game we've been talking about for a while.
But before you get into that, I just want to tell them about our text message exchange.
Right. Nimp and I had the same realization this week where Eternights came out this past week digitally, but isn't coming out until November something physically, and I
I
didn't
think it's like November 16th.
and I didn't realize that the dates were off, which makes sense. It's a single developer, so
Yeah,
I'm not too surprised, but
I don't have any issues, but it just caught me off guard where it kept saying, "Hey, we'll let you know when your package arrives, November 16th." And I'm like, "Wait, no, it's supposed to come out this
right, don't you mean September 16th? Like, yeah. So that was a bit of a surprise. I've played probably about an hour to an hour and a half of Eternights. I've gotten through Act 1, which is kind of the introduction tutorial area. I'm now a little bit into Act 2. And I'm actually really enjoying this. The developer is like, yeah, I played Persona and I really loved it and I wanted to make my own. And he did in
Cool.
the most complimentary way that I can. It very much has that kind of pattern to it, except the hack and slash gameplay that's in here is really good. It's very fast. It's very fluid. You're doing a lot of dodging when enemies attack to activate a slowdown time where you're doing like triple damage. You're building up meters to hit like L2 to do a big attack to hit enemies' weaknesses to then do like a short QTE to do a bunch of damage. It's more action-packed and a lot smoother than I was expecting it to. I thought it was going to be like Persona, where it's kind of like a turn-based thing, but it's definitely not. The writing is also way sharper and way funnier than I was expecting it to. I thought it was going to be this kind of... Let's be honest, a lot of JRPGs are kind of... have a lot of stilted or kind of weak or dry writing. Unless they're kind of like in a perverted scene and then it's suddenly like 10 out of 10 best writing in the industry.
Even then, it's still the same
Right.
thing that you've seen for other perverted scenes.
Right. So I was kind of going in expecting this, and it turns out to be way scarier and way more of a horror game than I was expecting, which I guess I should have, because like the opening cutscene for every trailer of this is your dude getting his arm chopped off and there being blood everywhere, which happens very early in the game, and it's a very cool scene. And then you get your like glowing sword arm, which is very neat. But I was pleasantly surprised at the beginning of this game there's a big natural disaster that happens, and it very much seems like, ooh, magic. And there's this giant wall this giant, like, glowing blue-purple wall that's around the city. And everybody goes into shelters underground, and at some point, you have to escape the shelter that you're in, and very much like Persona 4 with Rise, there's this very big pop star. And everybody knows her name, and she's on everything. She's on, like, all of the TVs, and she's the focal point of the first couple of minutes of the game, of just like, boy, if I only had a shot at this famous lady, I would love to take her out for a date. Yay. One of my favorite parts about this game is you run into someone that looks like her, but she has, like, sunglasses on and a mask on. And the very first thing your best friend says is, hey, aren't you that big pop star? And she goes, yeah, you found me out. Instead of it being like a JRPG where it's like, goodness, she looks familiar, but no, it couldn't be. It's just like, no, everybody knows her. She's huge. She's in literally everything. So I appreciated that the game did that instead of just being like, oh, maybe it is her. But probably not. So I like it. I like that a whole lot. And so far, the story is clipping along pretty nicely. Like, you go through a cool tutorial bit. You're making a bunch of decisions that are giving you various stats, like dialogue stats. You have, I think it's 4 dialogue stats. It's like friendliness, empathy, confidence, something like that. And you can tell that there's 4 kind of major pips in each one of those things. So you're kind of building up your stats through that. So far, it seems really good. It does seem, I don't mean this as a negative. It very clearly has a small budget, and it very clearly is a single developer. Like, they are stretching it a lot with the budget they do have. Like, it is well done. If you're watching the video version, they have a bunch of anime cutscenes so far that are actually really well done. It's much more than I would expect out of a game that is number one. It's only $30. It's only a single developer, but everything in the game feels really good, and it feels really good to play. And that first hour or so in the first act has you do a whole ton of stuff, and genuinely felt good to play. And within the first couple of minutes, I was like, all right, we're into the thick of it. Like, we're right here in the middle of doing a whole mission here. It's not just my first couple of weeks at school, everything's normal. Like, you're getting thrown into it right away. So it's pretty. Oh, and I'm playing this in English. I don't know what the other languages are available, but the English voice acting so far has been very good. Which, again, not something I would expect out of a budget title. But so far, it seems great. Only problem is I can't play it with my kid around because it is very mature rated. So I'm the amount of time I have to play it has been pretty thin so far. But so far, Eternights seems really great. It seems like it's maybe not terribly long, which is okay, because I'd rather kind of have a shorter experience than, be in here for 150 hours or something. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to play more of that this week. That's Eternights. That's all we've been playing. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta pull up all the videos here.
I'll be right back.
All right, I'll give me some time to pull up all these trailers. Be quiet, YouTuber. Pull up that one. Pull up this one. Probably should put a content warning on this video, but that's okay. Twitch will send me an alert if I'm airing something that is not copacetic.
Will they? Will they really?
They will, because they've made a bunch of changes lately about violent content on Twitch. So, like, if you're playing a game that is M-rated, you're supposed to flag your channel as playing something that is mature rated, and if you don't, they are and are going to flag your account pretty quickly. So thankfully it's not like, hey, we banned you because you're playing, Mortal Kombat.
They'll just flag it for you.
Yeah, they'll flag it for you, and they'll send you a warning of like, hey man, these new warnings are for real. Like you absolutely need to do this. So I should probably open up all these trailers from these two conferences.
Can I not get facelifts today, please?
You don't want your beard to smell like cat food?
Head breath is the worst cat breath that exists on this planet, dude.
Oh, that's bad. Welcome back.
There we go.
There you go. Hello. All right, are you guys ready to get started?
Yep.
No.
Okay. Good morning.
We'll just sit here forever.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of September 18th, 2023. Gloomhaven comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and Switch. The name of this sounded familiar, and this will probably be very funny to anybody that follows board games, but apparently this is a very popular board game. This is where board game fans laugh and probably say, this is the most popular board game on the planet right now. I genuinely...
Yes.
That is not my wheelhouse at all.
I'm just gonna wait for Mikey to at me.
That's right. He'd be like, you guys don't even... And it's like, I don't even know. But I do have to say, this digital version of Gloomhaven looks incredibly cool. It looks kind of how I would want a developer to make a kind of digital version of a tabletop RPG board game.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven looks pretty cool, man. If I wasn't playing 15 other games at the moment, this might be something I'd be interested in. Sorry, Gloomhaven. It's not you, it's me. But also it's the industry.
Yes.
Next game here, Lies of P, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC and OS X, not Switch. It's coming out Game Pass day and date. If you haven't seen this over the last couple of years, this is the Souls-like Pinocchio game. And when they announced it a couple of years ago, it's like, hey, congratulations, that's the dumbest idea I have heard of. And it turns out that apparently it's pretty cool and actually looks like a really neat game now. So,
yeah,
against all odds, they have made a cool-looking Souls-like Pinocchio game. So, people... we were talking.
And the story actually makes sense too, which is interesting.
That's wild. Yeah, we were talking about this beforehand, that it seems like everybody and their mother has gotten a review copy of this, because I think most people are just like us, where it's like, yeah, you're making... That sounds like a real idea, guys. You're shooting for it. Sure. Go ahead, I guess. But so everybody has preview and review footage, and they've been streaming it like crazy. So if you're curious about this, it is literally everywhere. There's so much stuff you can check out for Lies of P. Next game here, Mortal Kombat 1 comes out. PS5, Series console, Switch, and PC. It's a Mortal Kombat game. They're rebooting it again. And if you haven't seen the Switch version, you should probably go watch videos of that, because it is...
Oh, no, I haven't.
Literally this game, except they don't have the facial animations in the game. So the side-by-side cutscenes and GIFs are really funny. So you should go check that out. But apparently the two modes that are in this are really cool. It seems like it's a great Mortal Kombat game. This is, again, not any part of my wheelhouse at all, but people have been playing it a lot, and like,
part of me now really wants to go and play like 9 and 10, because I think this is 11, I believe.
No, 11 came out. That was when they rebooted it the previous time, and now they're rebooting it again. I know because 11 is...
whatever the 360 one was that they introduced the best story mode that exists in
Yeah, was that
fighting games.
9 or 10? One of those.
It was like 2 games ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So this might be 10. Don't go across my keyboard, Louise, because that's how you stop my recording.
Louise, no.
Well, I know what the conceptual reason behind the reboot is because of what happened in previous game stories. So I really kind of want to go and play those to find out how a certain somebody became the new god and so on and so forth.
That would be the reason I'd be playing these two. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back and play those story modes, but I don't want to at the same time.
Yeah. They're real good. Next game coming out, You Suck at Parking, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and it should already be out on PC. I don't remember if it was on early access or not, or if it was out on PC for the last couple of years. This is one of those kind of you're constantly driving, and it's a puzzle game to figure out how you get into the little spot you need to park in and kind of park perfectly, but as all the trailers say, stopping equals parking. So you need to continue to drive as much and as far as you can. It looks super...
It's a Micro Machines physics puzzle game thing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like you're going to blow up in increasingly funny ways for about 50 times, and then you'll get the good run. So it looks really cool. I watched one of my favorite YouTubers, Northern Lion, play it a while ago, and he really liked it. It looks like fun. So go check that out. Next up, some sort of similar to that, Party Animals comes out Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date. If you couldn't tell from Microsoft pushing it for the last 6 months on the Game Pass dashboard, it's available Game Pass day and date. And it's very much Gang Beasts, just with cuddly, squishy animals this time. So it's that kind of like...
Will say.
Yeah.
It has one of the best game cards I've seen in a long time, where it's just a puppy looking over the bottom edge of the screen.
It is very
good. Animals right at the top.
Yeah, so it is one of those kind of like Fall Guys kind of physics things where everybody's made out of jelly bones and everybody's just wiggling all over the place and you're trying to knock people off the stage and stuff like that. So you kind of already know what this is. If you have kids at home, they'll probably get a kick out of this because it seems like it's that kind of family level of nonviolence that works really well. So seems good. Yep. Next up, Days of Doom comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is a turn-based zombie grid battling sort of thing. I hadn't heard about that before today, but it looks like it's kind of neat if you like the... I feel like any of those kind of turn-based things, not nearly as fast as One Step from Eden, because no other video game really is, but that kind of idea here in Days of Doom. And last game here, Payday 3, allegedly finally coming out after I don't know how long on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date as well. I feel like Payday is probably one of those series that you don't really need to intro anymore because everybody has seen or heard or played Payday 2 at this point.
At one point, it was like the secretly biggest video game earner on the planet.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm still not entirely sure what's new in Payday 3 because I feel like last time I looked, Payday 2 fans were unhappy that Payday 3 didn't contain X, Y, and Z, which was their favorite thing, and it was going to fail because of, this minutia wasn't in the game. So who knows?
It's the COD Bro problem, which is you don't have all of the paid things that I paid for in the new game, so why will we pay you for a new game?
Exactly. So, I don't know. It will probably be fine. It will probably make a bajillion dollars over the next 10 years while it's out, and everybody will still... Oh, Payday 2, I don't play that. Payday 3 is way better. So that sort of thing. Let's move on to news stories. We got 4 really wild ones. Let's start off with Unity pooping their own pants and trying to figure out who did it. This is probably the biggest news story this year, seemingly out of nowhere, for really no good reason. Unity announces that they're going to charge developers per install of their games Not the game engine. Not like, hey, here's the thing that I use to make Unity games. The actual published and developed games to the tune of 20 cents per install. 20 cents per install of a person installing your game. So, rightly so, developers are saying like, hey, this is number one, not okay. Number two, bonkers. And number three, you should probably not do this because then I'm not going to use Unity at all because that's dumb. Unity then sort of started putting out a bunch of announcements and facts and stuff saying, well, it only goes into effect in January 1st, 2024. And everyone's like, well, that's not better. And one of the big concerns, which I think is very valid from a lot of developers, was saying, okay, so I sell my game as part of like a charity bundle, so hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people get it and install it. So then now I'm in the red to Unity for millions of dollars because I tried to give my game away as part of a charity. Like, that's insane. Like, why would I want to pay for that? Then
So,
go ahead.
I apologize. I'm laughing because I was sitting here thinking to myself, there's got to be a good Sony joke in here somewhere, how
Sure.
Unity have been reading Sony's playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And then that tickled a bell in my head because wasn't it literally in March of this year, Sony announced a strategic partnership with Unity.
Yeah, it's maybe not going to be super fruitful at this point.
Doesn't seem like
Nope.
it.
Yeah, so then Unity comes out and says, oh, well, I mean, that's okay. Well, then we won't have it count towards certain demos, and we're not going to have it count for the charity stuff, and it also won't count for Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. We'll have Microsoft and Sony pay for those. And everybody's like, okay, yeah, good luck with that one. That's gonna go over super duper well.
Yeah.
And then, so developers are coming out and saying like, look, this is a bad idea on its surface. But the thing that we're really concerned about is review bombing is already a really big problem. Now you're going to have people demo installing bombing. We're just like, I'm going to sit here and uninstall and reinstall this demo for hours. I got nothing better to do than tank the financials of this company because they went woke and I want them to actually go broke because I have absolutely no life because they asked for my pronouns in a video game. And Unity was like, oh, well, okay, now I guess...
Didn't think of that, did you?
No.
Despite the fact that it should be number one on the list.
It should be number one of I've talked about it on the show. You always think, what would 4chan do? And this is very much a thing that 4chan would do. So they say, well, a demos no longer count, but if a demo is a full game where you just lock off content, that'll count. And then Game Pass and PS Plus will still count. So there's been all of this back and forth where Unity is like, well, this will count, this won't count, this will... It'd still be, oh, we're dropping this one tier of pricing for developers, but, you know, it'll actually cost less if you pay a bunch of money for our higher tiers, which small developers can't do, which is one of the big bonuses and benefits of Unity was, hey, for very cheap, I can get a mature game engine that I can develop my game on and put it on a ton of platforms, including consoles. So they have managed to somehow poop their own pants and then get mad that everybody's saying, hey, dude, you pooped your pants. And I've been genuinely tickled by the number of developers that are putting out statements saying like, hey, man, this is a really dumb idea. If you do this, we're going to either stop development and switch over to either Unreal Engine or Godot, or we're going to have to figure out something else to do with this game. Or if you're the developers of Cult of the Lamb, they're jokingly saying they're going to delete the game come January 1st, which everybody if you see someone announce that they're going to delete their game, especially as big as Cult of the Lamb, maybe look at the rest of their Twitter feed and see if they're just a troll overall. That will probably give you an idea if they're honest or
says
not.
on the bottom of that statement, we don't make public statements, that's how bad you messed up.
Right. So, like, this is... Unity hasn't been getting a lot of positive press over the last couple of years anyways, because of their CEO, John Riccitiello, has never made friends at all. He's the one that called developers swear-wording idiots if they don't think about monetizing literally every facet of their game as they're developing it. So if you want to get a good idea of how Riccitiello's always been, he was also featured sort of thinly veiled as the final boss of No More Heroes 3, where you get to, take him out at the very end. So, nobody's a really big fan of him overall. It's really bad, and there's not a whole lot to say otherwise here yet, because they still are sticking to their guns, at least hopefully until Monday, where they start reversing some stuff, but I kind of don't expect them to at this point.
Not in any big tangible ways anyway.
Right. I mean, they really need to, but will they or not? I am not holding out a lot of hope, really.
This just keeps, like what I said last time, the industry just cannot stop getting in its own way.
Right. Right.
Like, what was the point of doing this besides you being greedy and trying to wring more money out of whatever,
Wringing money out of genuinely small developers, of a lot of developers that are like, hey, it's just me, and I sold a couple thousand copies on Steam, and I did really well, and now I'm going to own like $25,000 to you? Like, that's just an impossibility, so...
For a thing, I'm assuming that they have to pay a yearly licensing fee for that engine anyway.
Right.
It's not like you can just get it.
Right.
So...
Yeah, and like, and that's not to mention huge developers that use it, like Niantic for Pokemon Go is written in Unity, and so is Honkai Star Rail, and what's that big one that I always forget the name of, the other one that MiHoYo puts out?
The one that came before it?
Yeah, the
Genshin?
Genshin Impact, like that's written in Unity, so like hugely massive, like multi-million player count mobile games are also written in Unity, so they're probably not going to be very happy for you to say like, hey, here's our free game that 50,000 people installed this month. Now you owe us tens of thousands of dollars. Like,
yeah,
blisteringly stupid, which is impressive that it's somehow the dumbest thing a game company has done this year, in a year of really dumb things. Anyways, next news story. PlayStation had a state of play this week. They showed off a lot of stuff. We're just going to do kind of highlights here because there's a couple of really good games here. They showed off Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, which is an actually cool-looking PSVR 2 Ghostbusters game, which is not a thing.
It was in VR just because of how the guy's walking forward and the camera angle is like really...
It's like 45 degrees off. He has his hand up in the middle for no reason. But this is one of those games where it's like, all right, this is stupid, but now that you show me kind of using the proton pack and busting a lot of ghosts, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. All right.
Yeah. And it's one of those franchises too where if you get the sounds right, that's all you need to do is get the sounds right. Like I've said the same thing about Alien franchises. If you get the sound right,
100%.
The only thing that you need to get right.
Yep. So that looks pretty fun, actually. They had a shockingly long trailer for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, which...
This is a Ubisoft game, right? It has to be a Ubisoft game.
You need to watch maybe 30 seconds of the trailer and go, yeah, that's a Ubisoft game.
Okay.
This is confusing. Number one, it looks incredible. Like, this is such an incredible looking game. But it's still an Avatar thing, which I'm I feel zero feelings about. But you know it's going to be...
And it's a Ubisoft thing.
You know it's going to be like just a Ubisoft open world, probably Horizon semi-knockoff Avatar thing.
Yeah.
And it's really weird that they spent a lot of time in the press conference showing it. And just
because they probably spent a lot of money to A, get that license, and B, take you to the wonderful nature that is Pandora.
Well, Ubisoft has been developing this for almost a decade, right? Like they've been talking about making this for a long time.
It's like I don't know what happened after the first movie where nothing came out for anything Avatar related, and then the second movie came out and no one talks about it, but now we're getting like books and video games, and you know,
the second coming of
Avatar.
Clearly, you didn't play the Avatar game for the 360. Is all I'm saying.
No, thankfully.
Which had two
didn't even know that there was one.
Two separate campaigns, one from the human side and one from the Pandora's side.
Wow,
Pandorans?
I don't know.
The Na'vi, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
The blue cat people? Oh, trust me, they say Na'vi a bunch of times in this trailer. So, I now remember. I don't know, man.
It's really weird. Like, everyone keeps trying to talk this up like it's the next big thing. And it just isn't.
Avatar
is fine.
Avatar is hugely popular and makes $1 bajillion every time something comes out. But, like, seeing this game, and it's like, yeah, it looks good, but it's just going to be a Ubisoft game. It's going to be like all of the other ones. And that's fine. But, I don't know, man.
You find a tree to get your icons, and then you and then you go blow up some chemical factory like you do in any other Far Cry or anything else kind of game.
0.2% completion on your map.
Yeah.
And just so you know, the 360 game was called James Cameron's Avatar: The Game, and was also a Ubisoft joint.
Great.
Cool.
I love it. Next up, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Which is coming out actually fairly soon.
Real soon, yeah.
And I feel like I keep forgetting about this game because the first one is really great, and I didn't play the Miles Morales one. I really should. Also, very weird to have this video narrated by Brian Intihar as someone who grew up with OneUp.com to hear him be like, "Yeah, I'm like senior director of Insomniac Games." Like that's still a really wild thing.
Dude, they went where the money was, because it's sure as hell not in games journalism.
Yeah, because there aren't game websites anymore, really, which is depressing on so many levels.
There's one. It's tvgp.tv.
That's right, baby. e1m1.com. Patreon.com. But this is interesting because they're really focusing on this showcase of saying like, hey, the power of the SSD means you can switch between the two characters nearly instantly, super fast travel and stuff like that, which the previous games did do, which I think is a cool selling point. But
I hate to break it to them, but like GTA 5 was doing that in like 10 years ago.
Sure. Well, I mean, Sony's got to promote the SSD, though, because they have the fastest one in all of the consoles, so that's always their big... They always bring out that. Yeah. They always bring out Rift Apart of... Like, the SSD is blazingly fast. I wish it was faster in the Series X so that we would have less load times on Starfield. But, like, it's funny that they're promoting that, and they do a little bit of, like, look at all this cool stuff you can see around the city. It's still a Spider-Man game, so you're probably still interested. So it's interesting, but it looks great. They are really promoting Kraven the Hunter, which
they have to, because there's a movie coming out for him, dude.
I know. It's just like, okay.
We did Morbius. Now we have to do Kraven. Right. I'm just saying.
That's right.
2024's critical misses.
That's right. That's right. So, oh boy. They actually showed off, next up, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn, which is
this was surprising.
Actually a big piece of DLC coming out for Tales of Arise, which, number one, is uncommon for the Tales series, and number two, it's uncommon for Sony to usually care about the Tales series that much.
Yeah.
Arise did pretty well sales-wise. I think it did pretty well on Sony platforms especially. But it's really surprising to see them spending multiple minutes on a Tales game, nevertheless a DLC that kind of came out of nowhere. So that's cool. I should play that game at some point.
You should. It's good. And this is supposed to take place sometime after the end of the game.
Oh, nice.
And it, like, from what I was hearing, it's supposed to be like a pretty decent chunk.
Oh, nice.
So, which, like you were saying, we never get with the Tales of
No.
game. Usually they're out and that's it. So.
Yeah. And thankfully they finished up with the game that we were all hoping was going to be at the showcase, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Man, this looks way better than I was expecting it to look. And then it has kind of all of the hallmarks of the middle part of Final Fantasy VII. Like, it opens with the Junon gun firing. It has Kate Sith in it. It has the golden saucer. You're walking around Gungaga. Like, it's just... I am really excited for this against all odds.
I would really like to play the previous game.
You just need to spend $500 more on a PS5. No big deal. Super easy.
570 to get the PlayStation and the game.
Guess what, Moon? Because apparently stories have come out saying that nothing is coming over from the first game to the second part now. You're basically just restarting a brand new game.
I'm still a completionist, dude.
I'm just letting you know.
To play this one.
Square actually did something that's really smart with the pre-order for this, that for $70 you can get the first game and the DLC and this game and play the first game and the DLC now. So it's one of those things of like, well, why, if I haven't played the first one, why wouldn't I just get all of it for the cheaper price? Like, they good job, Square. You made a good financial decision for once.
I still need to play
and still
the DLC for the first one.
Yeah, I never finished that DLC. I'll have to go back and play through that. But
I will look forward in 2032 when this finally comes out to the Xbox Series Z or whatever it is.
I got bad news for you, but keep hope alive. Square did say this comes out February 29th, 2024. Don't forget, it's on 2 discs. They are going out of their way to not let you forget that fact, which means I need to buy this not digitally. I need to buy this physically just to see how stupid that experience is. I bet it's going to be real dumb. They've also come out to say this game ends at the City of Ancient's Forgotten Capital, which is sure a place to end a Final Fantasy VII game. Sure,
someone needs to remind me what that is.
Nope.
Hey, remember, you move from disc 2 to disc 3.
Yeah,
that's what you need to know.
Remember, it's the end of disc 1 moving to disc 2, and remember the big spoiler about Final Fantasy VII? It happens there. So
is that the wheelchair sequence?
No, that's much later. Yeah. But yeah, the that's a place to end that game, and they're saying like, hey, don't nobody get upset. Don't worry about it. It's there's going to be stuff out of order. There's going to be stuff that doesn't happen. Yes, in this version of the game. So like, don't worry about it, baby. It's all good. And it's like, no, I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing in this video game. You monsters.
I can't. Like, I was talking with my son about this, okay, and I was like, I can't. I don't want to watch that in 4K.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
for those of you who only listen to this, I did a hand motion in the middle of the conversation to confirm that it is what I thought it was.
It is the big event of Final Fantasy VII. But the question is, after the end of the first one, is what happens...
Do they do it?
Yeah, like what happens in this game overall. You'll also notice Sid is nowhere in... Kate Sith is barely in this. Sid is nowhere in any of this footage, nor is Rocket Town. So, like, how much of this stuff is kind of out of order or completely redone after the events of the first game? So.
And that's kind of my thing, is a part of me wants it to not happen and have that be the new story.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of me is like, no, it needs to have...
I want you to suffer like G did and have this happen.
Well, not even so much that as that was what helped define that game.
Oh, 100%.
And to take it out, like I said, I don't want to see that again.
Right.
However, like, I'm really split on it, man.
I'm ready to take the ride. Like, I didn't think the first one was going to be any good, and some of the stuff they're showing in the trailer for this just looks wild. So,
yeah. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to deal with it one way or another, but
it's gonna be something.
It's not going to feel great.
No, definitely not. Next news story here. Apple did their thing about the iPhone 15 and a bunch of other stuff. They always have some dumb name for it. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Apple's just being Apple. But they showed off the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro this week, and oddly featured a lot of large video games. I still get whiplash to this from, when the iPhone was first getting big and people were starting to put games on it, and Apple was like, this is not a game device. We won't debase ourselves with video games. But now they're showing off a bunch of games like Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, and Death Stranding running natively on the hardware.
They also did just have a huge lawsuit in regards to video games on their platform. So
that's true.
No,
that's true. They also showed off Assassin's Creed Mirage, which they're saying will not launch on the October 5th. Also, October 5th? Release date of the game for consoles. It'll be coming out early 2024. And shockingly, they always do their thing where they're like, oh, it's got the new A16 Bionic chip, blah, 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 blah. It features hardware-accelerated ray tracing in it on a phone chip. So they're doing some wild stuff out there. I also don't need another platform to play Death Stranding on, because I will do it. And I will play through that game again.
I'm just saying, dude, that I got it free with the Epic Store, and I could you
could play some Death Stranding. It's great.
Picking up Louise PlayStation game.
There, your own BB. But yeah, I was also really surprised that during the conference they're just like, hey man, don't forget the PS5 DualSense. You can buy it at the Apple Store, syncs right to your phone. It's like, wow, okay. I mean, you can also do that with the Xbox controllers. They're also supporting the Elite 2? No, the PlayStation Edge controller here pretty soon. I think the Elite already works with the iPhone. And then you have the Backbone, that thing that I have that kind of clamps onto your phone. That's really good. I have it too. Yeah. So I still have whiplash when they're like, hey man, this is a great place for you to play video games. I'm like, it is, but also very different from Apple of even a decade ago, which is wild. So
did they announced very much price point
for the phone or for the games?
For the phone.
The phone, I think the 15 Pro, I think was $1,000 when I looked on the Apple Store earlier today.
That's about the usual price. So my big thing, I'm glad you brought up price. My big thing is any game that is on a mobile device that's more than $10 or $15, Square Enix tax, scare quotes, is always hugely derided, 1-star reviews out the wazoo, because it's I'm not paying, console prices for a phone. These things are coming out at $70 on a phone, I'm sure, and I have no idea what the reaction to that is going to be. If they run perfectly on a phone and they look really good and they look like their console counterparts, I'm sure that's going to be a great experience. But $70 for anything on my phone is a big ask.
My biggest thing is I have very serious neck issues at the moment.
Right.
If I'm going to be sitting down to play something for a long time, I struggle to sit on my comfy recliner and play games for more than an hour without my neck
games you're looking directly at across your room.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to sit there and try and play something on my phone
hunched over looking at it.
It's going to mess with my arthritis, it's going to mess with my neck, it's going to mess with my phone battery life, which is, did they even talk about that?
I mean, we know it's going to be bad. If you're doing hardware accelerated ray tracing, it's going to be bad. Your phone's going to be super hot and it's going to run for an hour at most.
Want to cook a steak? Play Final Fantasy.
That's right. Yeah. Play Final Fantasy VII Remake and cook a steak at the same time. All right.
I was just wondering too, because a lot of modern video games are usually made with the intent of playing on a decent sized TV. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, are
Are
these?
we gonna have font gate again?
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like my 4-inch phone, I can't display these fonts that are in
Oh yeah.
10
Well,
10
that was
point
kinda-
fonts.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting with. Not even so much the fonts, but just being able to see things in the
Yeah.
game.
It's gonna be really interesting because I think if they run well, you could make a case for playing these with a real controller, whether it's a PlayStation or Xbox controller. I don't think the Switch controllers work with it. Don't quote me on that. Or like a Backbone. But like there's just a lot of questions about price mostly.
Yeah.
Yep. And go to patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones that are
Ones are
numbers.
numbers.
Thank you. If you want to hear us dive deep onto Apple in our pre-show this week
Right.
as well.
Other Apple pricing concerns. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that because that seems like a wild idea because I think so many of these are just like, of course you can play Death Stranding on your phone through your PlayStation Plus streaming membership. And it's like, that's not what I want to do. But if you can play Death Stranding on your phone natively and have it be an equitable experience, that's something I would like to check out. I'm not going to buy the new phone because it's $1,000. I don't need a brand new phone.
That and the fact that I wouldn't want to buy it on just that ecosystem either, because it's like I already own it for PlayStation.
Right.
I don't want to buy it again so that I can play it on my phone.
Right.
And we already know that Apple had the big dispute about, well, you can't really play it through, your PlayStation app, because then how's Apple going to get the money for it when you're doing this, that, and the other thing? So it's weird. But hey, if it's the only way you got and you can afford it, let us know.
Yeah. I can't wait for Brazilian and Japanese audiences to break this thing wide open.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. All right, and last news story here. Nintendo had a shockingly packed Nintendo Direct this time. We're going to do highlights of this just like the other one. Starting off with one of my favorite puzzle games of all time, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, is getting a remake on the Switch. This is kind of like a miniature platform puzzle game that came out on the Game Boy Advance that is really, really good, and nobody played it. I cannot recommend this game enough. It is genuinely really fantastic, and it's a very, very cool puzzle game. It seems like they're just bringing that over and just adding a ton of levels to it, and co-op, which is
From what I played of this, I always viewed it as like a modern iteration of Lemmings.
Sort of. Like, there was a game I played around that era called Humans, which was very much like Lemmings, but it was kind of your units didn't move manually. You were always moving them. And that Humans is what always reminds me, this always reminds me of this kind of like deliberate, but that very like puzzle platformer sort of thing that Lemmings did really well. So I'm super excited. I liked that original one a lot, and this looks really cool. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. They're making another 2D Prince of Persia game that looks pretty interesting. Certainly not. What was that last one on 360 that we really liked? Was it
Prince of Persia, 2006. It was just Prince of Persia. It was the animated version.
Yeah, the cool rhythm platforming one.
Yes. Not Sands of Time, but the animated looking one. Yeah. With the ending hidden behind DLC. That one.
Yeah, we talked about eras of DLC. That was a hot era of DLC where it's like, oh, check out more later for $15. Yeah, that sucked. That was the worst.
That's the whole reason I haven't played Azura's Wrath.
Fair. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. I like to see Ubisoft kind of going back to some of the 2D action platforming stuff, and this looks pretty neat. I always do like if you play games in any regard, I always like the Nintendo things where it's like you can equip amulets to give yourselves more powers. Just be careful, you only can equip so many. And it's like, this is great. Like, that's how video games work, and like this isn't the market for Nintendo Directs, but I really love them just breaking down like normal video game stuff for everybody.
Dad talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Don't become
I
over
mean, the Switch has the audience
That's
for
right.
it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, how many Switches are there, and how many people have not played some of the best games that exist because of that?
100%. Yeah. Next up, nope, that's not the thing I'm clicking. There we go. Next up, Super Mario RPG gets a new trailer. This looks really great. I really hate that Nintendo could not stop themselves from using the Nintendo font in this game, which just sucks. You guys gotta stop using the most boring white text font in these games. You can make it look a lot cooler. They have announced a bunch of new features in the game, like triple attacks and kind of these ultimate moves that you can do when you build up a bar, which I'm curious to see how it works out. Super Mario RPG, to me, isn't like a sacred cow or anything, but definitely wouldn't have blamed them for not doing anything to it. So...
Was it the first Super Mario RPG that had the Leet Goomba in there, who just wouldn't stop speaking in Leet speak?
No, we'll talk about that as the last game in this series. But this was the one that Square Enix made, where Bowser is in your party and stuff like that. Super Mario RPG is genuinely a really great game. I think it still holds up, but I'm really curious to see how they it looks like they're doing a little bit of stuff to modernize this version in a way that I hope kind of smooths some of the rough edges for that game overall. So go check it out. The original is great. This one will probably be great too, if I was to guess. Another Code Recollection is coming out. This is another shockingly interesting one where Trace Memory was the one that came out on DS, and it was kind of like an adventure puzzle-solving narrative thing. I genuinely don't know how they're going to put this out on the Switch, but they're also putting Another Code R on here, which never came to North America. And both of these, they are completely remaking from the ground up. They look like entirely brand new, completely different games. That's pretty cool. This is one of those ones that, like Hotel Dusk, where it's just like, yeah, we're never seeing those again. I hope you have a DS and you bought one of those, because that's never happening. So to see these coming out in any other fashion is really cool. Next up, Princess Peach Showtime, the game that my daughter, who loves Princess Peach, is very excited about. It's a 2D platformer where you get to use dress spheres. Not really, but you get to change outfits, and you get to turn into like Kung Fu Peach and Patissier Peach, and you get to beat up enemies using your your additional dress sphere powers.
You said it was a 2D platformer, right?
Yeah.
Is everybody else Toads? If you can jump in co-op wise, I hope everyone else is Toads.
I don't know if they talked about co-op at all in this one.
I was gonna say they're only missing one princess, because they could just have you jump in as Daisy and who's the other one?
Rosella?
Yeah, Rosella.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just missing one more to make it 4-player.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they actually mention any co-op in this one.
The Rabbit's version of Peach in here.
That's right. Yeah, Rabbit Peach would be really great. So this looks super cool. I like when Nintendo makes these kind of little bit off the beaten path platformers like this. I think this could be really cool. So that comes out. When does that come out? March 22nd. So check that out on Switch 2. LOL.
The new Smash is gonna have a lot of peaches in it.
That's right. That's right.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for me.
Don't shoot. Now it's in my head. Curses. Next up is Contra Operation Galuga. I don't know how to pronounce that. Way Forward is making a Contra game, which is probably the only way that I would be interested in a brand new Contra game. So good on them for making a cool new... Just let Way Forward make pretty much any classic game at this point, because they're like the only studio that seems to get it. Yeah.
I think you jumped over one in the show notes.
Oh, I did. Yeah, where's my trailer for... Hold on, I gotta pull up a trailer here for Saga Emerald Beyond, because I am pretty feral about the idea of a brand new Saga game and not a remake or a remaster. So yeah, Saga Emerald Beyond is coming out next year. It looks like a pretty standard Saga game, which means it will be almost incomprehensible and probably brutally difficult and incredible and weird and wild in really fantastic ways. So I haven't seen this announced for anything else. I hope it's not a Switch exclusive, because JRPGs on the Switch don't run well, to put it kindly. So waiting for that SMT5 to come out to literally anything else,
yeah,
please,
that's
Atlas.
kind of disappointing that hasn't come along anywhere else.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Saga, what is the name of Saga Emerald Beyond? Such dumb names. I love it so much. Really looks like a Saga game, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this to come out. It's wild we're getting another one of these. And, there's a panther in your party. Why not? Oh, it's so good.
We'll say the witch looked like she was a magic girl because she just transformed into a witch. So.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and you don't have to mention a panther in the party. You already said it's a JRPG.
That's true. If it's not a smoking dog, it's some sort of talking cat. So, got him everywhere. Next up, let's talk about Unicorn Overlord. Unicorn Overlord. If you couldn't guess, it's a Vanillaware game, which is exciting by itself. Unicorn Overlord is Vanillaware making an ogre battle. So that's...
Translate that to us who don't know what that means, please.
It is a
tactical RPG.
well, sort of, but it's not grid-based. It's party and unit-based. So you're kind of moving small units of... Usually it's like 3 or 4 party members across a free-moving map to kind of clash with other enemy units or take over buildings or capture areas or things like that. And then when units clash, you get the kind of side-by-side... I never remember what the name of those
Real-time Advance Wars?
Yeah, you could think
Fire
about it
Emblem
like that.
Advance Wars,
yeah, Fire Emblem Advance Wars, where you kind of have 2 armies clash together. They fight automatically, and then whoever's stronger kind of usually comes out ahead on the other side of it. So we don't have very many ogre battle games. Like Shining Force is kind of the other big ones. Those were on Genesis. Ogre Battle was on N64 and Super NES, so we usually don't have these that often, which is really exciting to see Vanillaware do one of these, because number one, they don't make that many games. The rebirth of tactical fantasy RPGs is so stupid. I love it. And just, I like saying Unicorn Overlord, because it sounds like a Square Enix working title for your video game. That comes out March 8th, 2024. Expect me to talk about it on the show, because there's too many irresistible things about this dumb video game for me to pass up. It also doesn't seem like it's coming out to anything else, which is also a real bummer. Please stop. Or announce Switch 2, and then we'll be fine. Next up, probably the funniest announcement here, Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is coming out April 23rd, 2024. So please wait for the Suikoden Remaster 1 and 2 to be announced for April 22nd, 2024, because they are in probably the industry's worst pissing match going on right now, where they are both trying to get it out the door before each other, even though they have nothing to do with each other anymore, because Namco Bandai has a lot of feelings about Suikoden and Ayuden Chronicle. So this still looks fine. It's Suikoden. It's a spiritual successor to Suikoden. So that's, if you don't know what that is, it has like 100 and something characters in it, and you can play as any of them.
It's 105 star heroes.
That's right. So this looks fine. It's still coming along pretty nicely. It still looks pretty good. It got delayed recently. This looks like this is probably the final release date for this. But we'll see. So this isn't really my wheelhouse, but people are pretty pumped about this. So I'm hoping it comes out. Fire on all cylinders. Looking good. We got Dave the Diver, a recent indie...
I just want it on Xbox.
Dave the Diver has to be coming to other stuff soon, because it was such a huge hit on PC.
I saw it on your list, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm gonna check if it's like advertising exclusivity with Switch or anything." No announced for PlayStation or Xbox or anything else.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty small team, and it seems like the success on PC caught them by surprise. It looks very good. It's supposed to be really, really great. And I haven't played it because it's only on PC right now. But I'm in the same boat. I really hope it gets announced for other stuff because it's supposed to be really great. So that's coming out October 26th. And last but certainly not least, they're doing a remaster of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door coming out sometime next year. This is, if you don't know what the Thousand Year Door is, it's the game Moon was talking about earlier, where it's highly referential and highly tongue-in-cheek, while kind of extending the Paper Mario formula and the Mario RPG formula. I have never played this game as incredible as it's supposed to be, because it came out on GameCube, I think.
Yep, I think.
And I never picked it up when it came out to GameCube, and apparently it's supposed to be incredible and genuinely funny. So,
well, genuinely funny for its time. Let's see how that holds up these days.
Based on the stuff that people keep posting about it, apparently it gets more relevant with every passing year. Especially the stuff around Peach having maybe an overly aggressive fan who really loves to be on the internet and talk and be a troll on the internet. So, very, very interesting. So, that's coming out sometime next year. Very, very exciting. Also very exciting is the end of the episode. We've been talking for very long. Yay, Starfield.
5-star runtime.
That's right. That's what we got, baby. You can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere, find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to go sign up for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
And get all the cool, exclusive, behind-the-scenes, early access stuff there. $5 a month is a recommended tier. Everything else above and beyond that is greatly appreciated, along with all of your financial support. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. You can support us by telling your friends, rating us wherever you can, liking, commenting, subscribing on our YouTube videos. All of that stuff really helps. Don't forget, we have a YouTube video that goes up for everything that goes on the public feed. So you can see our beautiful and shining faces and all of our giggles and laughs and probably poisonous energy drinks all over there on YouTube. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Oh boy, now we gotta do titles.
I've only got 2.
I only got 1. Why don't you hit me with your 2?
I have Banana Seaweed and Bethesda Burnout.
Oh, Bethesda Burnout is really good. Bethesda Burnout. What do you have, Moon?
The plan was flawless. Yay, he remembered. What have we been playing? Grenade icons everywhere. Ship's extended warranty. It's a pew-pew thing. Bethesda Burnout. Megaton situations. Jelly bones. Cook a steak. And Fontgate.
I have Banana Seaweed, Bethesda Burnout, and Fontgate. My vote is for Bethesda Burnout. I think that's too good of a title to pass up. I can be swayed, but that's my vote.
I'm good with Bethesda Burnout because it's literally a thing.
That's right.
Because I'm feeling it right now.
That's right. Okay. Feel crispy. All right, I have circled it. Let me know when you're ready. Stretching my back. Ooh.
That's what I was kind of doing too. Just,
I don't know if I showed you guys this USB adapter I got for my.
Oh, you found it?
My VCR, straight from Japan. This thing is great. It's the IOData GV-USB 2. It's very good.
Has Japan just turned into our Radio Shack? Because there's been a couple of things that I've had to order from Japan that I just could not find in America.
It's really great. It just has the red, yellow, and white connectors and an S-video on one end, so there's a USB on the other end. It makes these VCR tapes look so good. It's great.
I'd have to look into that.
Why?
Because I still have to convert my THX Star Wars and my Star Trek movie collection.
Yep, rip all that stuff.
All right, I think I'm ready.
I think
I'm ready.
Louise is ready for a nap.
She's been napping the whole time. Coming up here, sleeping on me, getting down, sleeping over there, coming back here.
You're just not comfortable enough. That's the problem.
Apparently.
Yeah. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 830 for September 18th, 2023. Bethesda Burnout.
I'm over encumbered with games.
I just can't feel anymore.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it, whether you're watching, listening, chatting with us online. We do appreciate it, and we hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Louise. No.
No kisses, Louise.